Okay, I know this looks bad, but if you just... I can explain. Stop. And you stop, please. Hey, what is going on, guys? Worst Trends here. I have made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment. This is not something I should be making a video on. I mostly make object show content, which means that a good amount of my audience is children. Actually, not as bad as I thought. Wait, what the fuck? But with that said, all you little kiddies better get running along. That's because the game I decided to waste my time making a video on today has some questionable content. Let me read out the list real quick. Let's see, we got some murder, cannibalism, I think there's some dismemberment in there, as well as implications of the deed. You know what I'm talking about, I'm not gonna say it, my parents watch these videos. This is gonna be the start of a new series I like to call The Rant, which is basically me talking about whatever, but with very little effort put into it. The script won't flow well. I'll pretty much just write down whatever comes to mind in the order I think of it. Which means I might just abruptly start talking about something different. Low level of editing, enjoy seeing the same PNG over and over. Normally I'd add a third item to that list, but today is not the day. It's a rant video, everybody. Welcome to the party. I recommend you watch a Let's Play of this game so you know what you're getting into. I recommend BS and Bubblegum. They were pretty entertaining. So basically I watched a playthrough of this game a little while back, and I just feel like talking about it. But what is this game exactly? What is a Leyley? A coffin? Well, basically, it's a silly little horror game about two siblings being trapped in their apartment due to a citywide quarantine. Oh wait, sorry, I lied. This isn't a game. This is a visual novel. The gameplay in this goes a little something like this. Walk around, interact with an object, talk to somebody. Cue 30-hour-long cutscene. Oh sorry, I lied again! This game isn't about two siblings trapped in their apartment. That's only the first hour of gameplay. Watch time, because we actually get to watch these two go through a slew of tangentially related events, one after another. The progression of this story is not very cohesive as a singular story. It feels a lot less like a plot to a movie and more like... Okay. You know when you were a kid, and you were making a story with your stuffed animals or whatever? No? Just me? Damn. And the story would start with them trying to fight some villain, and that's the goal. But then they do it. They complete the goal. But the story just keeps going. And you have the adventure continue immediately after the mission is complete. No breaks. After a while of doing this, the original goal of defeating that villain is kind of forgotten about. It feels unimportant and unnecessary, even when it was such a big deal when it was first happening, and is the reason any of this is happening in the first place. It's like you sat down to write a script with no real ending in mind. You just kept typing and typing until you got tired of it. There's no singular arc, things just keep happening. So basically what I'm trying to say is, this game feels like it was written by a 5-year-old. But wait, isn't this just a slice of life story? We're watching these people live their lives in this situation. It's not a movie, that's the whole point. Yeah, that's fair. But you forgot about one thing! Let me explain a little more. The story starts with the two siblings being locked inside their apartment. It's been 3 months. The parents left when the quarantine started, and the wardens watching the apartment building refused to feed them. Meanwhile, their next-door neighbor is a cultist who summons a demon and is killed by it. They use the opportunity to resummon the demon to kill the warden, and finally escape into the real world. Free at last. But that's just chapter 1. And I know what you're thinking. Oh yeah, right. And I know what you're thinking. There's nothing wrong with that. If a game is split into chapters, you should expect each one to be more self-contained. And I agree. I have no real problems with the pacing of the first chapter, but the second and most recent chapter, there's more on the way, is a far different story. If chapter 1 was the first episode to a TV show, then chapter 2 is the entire rest of the season. We go from the first chapter, which takes place entirely in one location, being the apartment building, with a simple goal, escape, to the second chapter where... Hold on, let me start a speedrun timer so I can feel like I accomplished something. The siblings are staying at a motel. However, one night when Ashley's sleeping, she gets a final destiny premonition of someone killing her and Andrew. This is because of a trinket the demon gave her after she sacrificed the warden's soul back in episode 1. She wakes up and the two leave the room, only to find a cultist meeting not too far away. A group of people are worshipping the same demon from earlier. They exit to see the man from the premonition enter the motel room. That man is not a cultist, but instead a hitman hired by the water company that started and held out the quarantine. They're able to kill him and steal his car, in which they drive to their parents' house. Once there, Ashley has ulterior motives, trying to sacrifice them to the demon, in return getting more premonition power from the trinket. After making dinner, they tie them up at night and steal all their money. Unfortunately, this cutscene is like 100 hours long and legitimately includes them calling the bank to remove the withdrawal limit from the credit card. After another decade of beating around the bush, they do the ritual, killing them and getting the power. They recreate that scene from The Lion King, and they use the trinket the next night, and... Okay, stop the damn timer. Depending on what dialogue options you chose earlier in the game, this either goes pretty well or really bad. Like, really, really bad. Let's just say the bad ending will have that bleach over there look like a gourmet meal. Oh, silly me, I forgot to actually talk about the main characters. Our main characters are Andrew and Ashley. They're like 20-something. Now, these two characters and their relationship is surprisingly deep, like way more than you'd think. It would take so long to explain, this speedrun timer would be completely unnecessary. But I guess I'll do it anyway. Let's start at the beginning. The very beginning. Nah, I'm just kidding. I actually wrote out the whole backstory of these characters and it was like 7 paragraphs long. This video is supposed to be easy to make, come on. I recently watched this video by Lecter, which explains everything far better than I ever could. I highly recommend you watch it. It's only 5 minutes long, but gives the insanely deep writing in this game justice. If you really want to know what's going on in this game, you should watch the BS and Bubblegum playthrough, and then watch that video. They're linked in the I thing, and go do it. If you don't, then don't blame me if you're confused, because I'm gonna write the rest of this expecting you to already know all this stuff, okay?
Let's go!
There's 3 things in this game that make it controversial. Murder, cannibalism, and the thing. The first one, murder, that's nothing. There's murder in BFDI, I just threw this one on the list for fun. Next is cannibalism. Same thing, they do that all the time in that show. Now, I may just be disturbed, but I don't really care about the cannibalism thing. Maybe it's because I watch a lot of horror movies, specifically Saw, but I don't know, I feel like this isn't that big of a deal. The first time they do it. The second time, I don't like it. Not because it's cannibalism, but because of what it represents for the characters. And finally, the thing. Come on, I don't want to say it. I know it's there for a reason within the story, but I still just don't like thinking about it. The game isn't advertising this. It makes a pretty clear point that this is a bad thing, but I still totally get why it's controversial. In fact, I'd say I'd prefer it if it wasn't in the game. Remember that bleach room earlier? Yeah, it's all gone now. And with that said, this will be the last time I mention it. Hey! Hey! Get that off the screen! Hey! Get that off the screen right... Hey! Get that off the screen!
You can't tell me what to do.
Get that off the screen right... Hey! Get that off the screen!
Oh, who the hell put that on the screen?
Apparently, this is supposed to take place in Northern Europe. Personally, I think this game is already messed up enough, so I'm just gonna pretend it's in America. I do really like how the characters are written, but my biggest complaint about this subject is Andrew's progression. He starts out being genuinely disgusted and horrified by murder and cannibalism in the first chapter. They make a huge point about him getting insomnia because of it. But by the end of chapter 2, he's casually doing all of those things. He doesn't even bat an eye. And I get the point of the game is to strip away any sense of normality as it goes along, and make the 2 main characters irredeemable. But I feel like it happens kinda fast. He kills the warden and loses sleep. He kills the hitman and is distressed. But by the time you get around to the end of the game, he's completely desensitized. He's dismembering people no problem. The warden and the hitman were people who directly tried to kill Andrew and Ashley, but he's horrified after killing them. But killing his own parents? Boy, I sure do hate Mondays. His biggest reaction is him being shocked for about 20 seconds before recreating the scene from The Lion King. Damn it, I already made that joke. But seriously, over the course of like a day, I'm pretty sure, he goes from being pretty horrified about murder to casually throwing skulls down the harbor like it's a game of, tetherball, yeah, sure. It's probably a good time to mention that Ashley's the reason for every bad thing in this game. Except the parasites. Probably. No, but really, and the worst part is, Andrew would be a functioning member of society if it wasn't for her. But the thing is, Andrew could still become a functioning member of society. Well, not anymore. Every single second of his life where he gains consciousness and thinks about abandoning Ashley, like he should, Ashley always
flutters her eyelashes.
Me go back to square one. It just makes me want to throw his ass out a window. This is like when a parent will let a kid get a toy, and the kid starts having a tantrum in the middle of the aisle. Eventually, the parent just ends up getting the kid the toy. It's the same exact thing here, except instead of a kid, it's a grown adult. And instead of a toy, it's Andrew's attention. Still a lot of crying though. But wait, you might be saying, isn't Andrew a good person? Well, Andrew is better than Ashley, and Stalin was better than Hitler. Still doesn't make him good though. Forget everything I just said about the characters though, because apparently this fan base can't get enough of them. They really love these two. I looked up a picture of Ashley for the thumbnail, and now I go to church 8 days a week. You can't make this stuff up. Okay, that's the end of the video, everybody. No, I've only watched a playthrough once before making this video, so all this is completely off memory. If I got something wrong, don't correct me, I don't care. Also, if you're about to leave a comment on this video talking about how much you hate this game, I just want you to know, I agree. Completely. Whatever it is, I'm on your side. See, now I don't have to respond to any comments. That is four-dimensional thinking, my friends.
Penny for your thoughts?
No deal.
Come on, give me one word.
Mortifying.
Ah!